World War Snark is upon us, and the Snark side is losing. Badly. I am here today to give some advice to the Snarkers who desperately need it. Not because I want them to win, but instead because they are on track to lose so badly that it's simply boring to watch them flounder this much. Hopefully, if they listen to my advice, it will at least make things a bit more interesting. But first, let's check the scoreboard. The star player, the MVP of the anti-Snark team that nobody else even comes close to, is Ethan Klein. Let's just think about the effect that he and he alone has done to the creator space. 1. In a master stroke of we do a little trolling, Ethan Klein was able to set up copyright lawsuits against Denim's Frogan, Caseytron, and the H3 Snark mods. Caseytron was abandoned by her allies and was forced to do a hostage-style apology in her settlement, and is now basically barred by law from criticizing H3 due to the non-disparagement agreement that they have. Frogan just straight up defaulted on her lawsuit and could pay large damages because of that. The H3 Smart mods lost their legal maneuverings to keep their identities secret and are soon to be revealed and brought into the lawsuits themselves. Denims is the only one with the money to really defend herself properly and has hired top-notch lawyers to defend herself with. That being said, I think that this was a mistake, as she is likely paying out the nose for this legal defense and could be on the hook for way higher costs than if she had just settled from the beginning. The point is, Ethan has these people dead to rights on the law and has already scored major victories against a large portion of the Snark associated leaders and associated content creators, and is only going to win more. And that's just the copyright lawsuits. He also has a defamation lawsuit against another lefty content creator, Noah Samson. And he has just threatened iDubbbz with a defamation lawsuit in Canada, which has much less free speech protections for this kind of stuff than America. And iDubbbz, in response to this, has publicly said that he wants to stop talking about Ethan Klein and has proposed a silly boxing match or battle of wits in a Hail Mary attempt to convince Ethan to drop the lawsuit. This is all while iDubbbz and Nisha have had less viewers and relevance than ever. And that's just Ethan Klein's contributions to the space. He alone has taken out half of the Snark-associated people. But let's move on to a more recent controversy, which is related to Destiny and a recently discovered Discord called the Snark Left. Without diving too deep into the specifics of the allegations, there is a Discord full of a lot of lefty commentary-type YouTubers, failed YouTubers, and Twitter clippers and reply guys. In this Discord, a lot of controversial and mean things were said about a variety of other center-left type political content creators, and there was even some allegations of doxing and coordinated harassment. 20 gigabytes of messages from this Discord, including all of the deleted comments from there, was leaked to Destiny, who is now drip-feeding the controversial activities in the coming weeks. This has caused quite a lot of panic from the people in this Discord, even causing some other commentary type creators like Chud Logic to disavow these people. And without arguing over the exact merits of each leak, we have to admit at a very minimum that optically it looks quite bad. As a result of these leaks, some of the Snark commentary creators are saying that they are being harassed and doxxed in retaliation and have advocated for mass reporting of people of their own and are worried that they and their communities are being targeted and blacklisted by Destiny and others in an attempt to destroy them. Additionally, as Destiny's other lawsuit wraps up soon, he seems to be hinting that he might start some lawsuits of his own against his perceived harassers. And thirdly, as an honorable mention, I will bring up Hassan Piker as the largest lefty content creator. I mention Hassan not because he has taken any significant bad PR hits as of late, but instead to point out that he has given almost no public support to any of these groups or people in any significant way. I think he may have liked some tweets from some of these creators, but he isn't putting himself out there in any significant material way to help these people. He's sitting this one out. He's not interested in helping any of you. He will not be your savior, and he will do just what he does every single day, which is make a bunch of money live streaming. On to my advice to the Snark left. First, in order to solve a problem, you must admit that there is a problem. And boy, do you all have a problem. I have seen a ton of cope from the Snark fans, cope about everything, from the idea that Ethan Klein or Destiny or whoever is going to lose all of their supporters overnight as people realize how horrible they are. That's not going to happen. They have very dedicated fan bases. You might call them brainwashed, but right or wrong, this kind of brainwashed fan base, in your opinion, are not going to leave these people anytime soon. These people are not disappearing from the internet, and they have both the motivation and the resources to go after their enemies, which is you, by the way. The Snark left are their enemies. And then I hear cope about the lawsuits, where in many of the cases, the outcome of these lawsuits is very obviously going to be against the Snark people, and in fact already has in a couple times. People are letting their cope mess with their ability to perceive objective reality, and that's dangerous because I expect people will be coping all the way towards every single one of these Snark content creators, at least in the DMCA lawsuits, will be forced to make hostage-style apologies of their own, lest they be financially ruined otherwise. The point being, you all are losing. And I know I'm lumping everybody together here, and saying that they're all on the same team, even though that's not exactly true. They make fun of each other and attack each other all the time, and they don't support each other on everything. But I'm lumping you all together for a reason, and that is because this group will share the same fate. If one creator loses a lawsuit over here, that will scare off dozens of creators over there who may vaguely agree with them or talk about similar things. Or it will kill off a shared audience or make your ideas less popular because there aren't as many creators making videos about these topics. Let me be clear, your speech is being chilled. And if you cope about that, you're going to cope all the way into a lost lawsuit, irrelevancy, or seeing everybody around you no longer support the things that you do. Personally, I think it's a good thing when insano crazies have their speech chilled, but you probably don't think that. So now that we have established that there is a problem, let's move on to your options. Option 1 is to give up. Hide, slink away, stop talking about all of these things, do something else, and hope that your silence will make everyone else forget about you so that you aren't targeted in return, using the legal system or otherwise. This option is what I expect most of the people in the Snark left will do. The fan bases and the creators in this space are fickle, defined more by who they hate as opposed to what they support. The most likely outcome is that a creator will move on to different topics due to how fast news cycles are these days, or they'll have some other controversy about them distract them. This isn't that bad of an option if you're just a self-interested content creator who's only interested in making money, or a drama-hungry viewer who is just interested in this for the entertainment of all. If you just walk away, there are tons of other bigger targets that people will go after, and you will be forgotten about as you move on to make YouTube videos about something else. This won't work for the extraordinarily principled among the group, who will fight back and do the opposite of what kind of their enemies are demanding, and it certainly won't work for the star players in this drama that already have the eye of Sauron on them and are complaining about either lawsuits, doxing, or harassment already. For these people, you can't just walk away. At a minimum, your audience that was built on this type of content would revolt. And by audience capture alone, this would kind of be your end. So what do? That gets us to option 2. One of the star players in this drama is a drama creator named Queeman, and he came up with the seed of an idea that almost has the chance of working if it were done by more competent actors. A few days ago, he made an impassioned speech about free speech. He asked creators to put aside their differences, stand together, and protect the YouTube commentary space against it being destroyed by either Ethan, government actors, which do exist by the way, but that's a story for another time, or even just harassment itself. I will give him partial credit for doing the one thing that no other comment creator has done, which is to stand for something instead of merely standing against what others are doing. Taking a free speech angle to this controversy is a convincing narrative. If major live streamers are suing people for defamation or setting copyright traps in order to not necessarily protect their IP rights, but instead go after their enemies, this creates a chilling effect in the space. In my opinion, this chilling effect is a good thing. Personally, I want all of these psychotic commentary creators to be on edge, worried all of the time, and to be attempting to be careful about what they say or do. I think it's good when people try to be safe and smart about their criticism, because the status quo is completely deranged in my opinion. But on the other end of things, I will fully admit that this has a chilling effect on the space. This is especially true for the copyright traps. It is inarguable that content creators are constantly breaking copyright law all the time. Almost no React streamer where they kind of play somebody else's VOD live and give their commentary, almost none of that is legal. If everyone had their copyright knives out all the time and were threatening IP lawsuits all the time, this would destroy most of the React streamer space as it exists today. So there really is a good narrative to be spun here for free speech or protecting the content creator space, even if I would argue that all of these people are psychotic and basically deserve anything that comes at them. So how would you go about protecting commentary creators' free speech? First, you need to be making more impassioned arguments and videos about chilling effects and free speech. And it needs to be more than one content creator. You need to organize a bunch of people to make videos about this topic and kind of release them all at the same time. Second, you need to try to form a group of creators who are on board with your free speech battle. You could create an open letter describing what the problem is and the solution, and pass the letter on to various content creator friends and get them to sign on to it and support this open letter. And thirdly, this is more aspirational as opposed to something that I think any of you degenerate commentary people are able to accomplish. You should try to break out into the normie space and convince official free speech advocacy groups or organizations to support you. So you could reach out to FIRE or the EFF and talk about how dastardly these kind of rich streamers are and how they're chilling everybody's speech. Additionally, you could lean upon the forbidden weapon that few content creators seem to fully utilize, and that's to weaponize your community. Just go back and watch what Dan Saltman did with DGG and his campaign against Twitch. Do the same thing, do frequent impassioned calls to action, telling your audience to send letters to various news organizations, free speech orgs, or to content and recruit other streamers. The most powerful superpower that influencers have is their ability to influence their audience. And yet, it's exceedingly rare for influencers to make direct calls to action to their community or to uplift their viewers into becoming player characters of their own. But if all of that doesn't work, what do you do now? The third and final option is to simply give up on all of your principles, go scorched earth, and to engage in the mass doxing and harassment campaign that you are accused of, and target any vulnerable targets. This is the solution I support, because I think that all of you are crazy. All of you are hiding behind a thin veneer of civility while stabbing each other in the back, and I would rather that the whole industry burn to the ground in a massive, explosive, creator versus creator war than continue as it is doing today. And I think that all of you are no different than I am. They just hide behind their fake morality and fake virtue signaling while turning a blind eye to the behavior of psychopaths. But hey, maybe you disagree and you think that there's something valuable worth saving in this space. In that case, please respond to this video and explain to me why it all shouldn't be burned to the ground.